Hello! This is the second video in a two-part series in which we discuss Andrew Oldenquist's On the Nature of Citizenship. In the first video, we talked about the 6 features of citizenship, and in this video, we're going to do an analysis of his discussion. Initially, he makes fun of the United States for not doing a very good job of educating its citizens. He points to countries like Soviet Russia and Communist China. He says that they do a better job of instilling an appreciation for their society, institutions, values, and culture. And he fears that Americans falsely assume that children are naturally good and civilized. He says this is the triumph of sentimentalism over sin and manifests itself as an all-you-need-is-love school of educational thought. You might compare this to the modern-day concept that everyone gets a trophy. Underlying this is a distorted parody of classical individualism. He uses the term hyper-individualism and posits that many Americans have lost their affection for their country and instead view it more coldly, as you might towards a car salesman you were going to haggle with. In the next session, he discusses citizenship education. He splits this into 2 points. First, we need citizenship skills, the tools and abilities to get things done, knowing how systems work, knowing how to get people to do what you want them to do. These skills are morally neutral, and that's a problem because without the moral component, these skills are the same skills that can be used by egoists, spies, revolutionaries, criminals, narcissists. It's the connection to the society, the love of the society, the sense that we are in this together and that we are bound to one another that makes the citizenship skills moral and meaningful. We can skip over the 6 features since we've covered them. Following that, though, he's talking about social justice activism before it was even understood as such. He does not suggest they have no place or that their arguments are not legitimate. His position is that there needs to be an order of operations in how you teach children. It's not that you should never teach children the ugly truth of history or the negative aspects of our society. That's the reality we live in. We need to address it. We can't make informed decisions about our society unless we deal with reality. Instead, he says, we need to give children a foundation of citizenship education which teaches them respect for the people in our society because hopefully, right, we all have a set of shared values, respect for our institutions, respect for family, respect for education, honesty, and hard work. These are first taught so that students, children, right, can develop an appreciation for their society and feel ownership in that society. Then we can teach them the ugly aspects of reality. To do otherwise, he says, is suicidal, because beginning with a foundation of disgust and disdain for society cannot lead to its maintenance or its improvement. In the final section, he makes the argument that though we have separate groups in society based on historical discrimination and a legacy of racism, to put them in such different camps as to expect different things from them or to expect different values or behaviors or to lower the standards for citizenship education is to harm those kids that are already disadvantaged. He says there is nothing white or even middle class about good citizenship. Honesty, work ethic, or even civic responsibility. These values aren't owned by anyone. They are good behaviors, they benefit everyone, and they belong to everyone. So, the assumption that certain groups should have different standards for them, though they live in one single society, is an unworkable proposition that perpetuates inequality and damages the society in the long run. When we refuse to hold members of our community responsible, we alienate them. In effect, we say, you are not us. Now, he does not suggest that we must all conform to one bland and homogeneous identity. That would truly be terrible. Training children to be good citizens within their communities is still able to respect the American traditions of individualism and diversity. And so with that, have a good week. Contact me with any questions.